Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about exactly why Ohio must have a Second Amendment Preservation Act immediately, and especially before May, when the stupid fucking retarded unconstitutional ruling by the ATF comes down with the stupid pistol brace thing and has to do with stupid fucking federal law being codified as state law because fucking dumbass retarded pieces of shit in the General Assembly back in the day, who knows when, could have been the 1980s, could have been the 1990s, could have been 2000s for all the fuck we know, could have been the 1970s, but I'm guessing it was more like the late 80s, early 90s, honestly, decided to be fucking retarded and completely codify our state constitution to make a federal fucking judgments in there when it came to the NFA and everything else that was stupid as shit is what it is, dude. Which, by the way, as I've said on this channel many times, the National Firearms Act 1934 has been unconstitutional since 1934. The only reason it was never challenged at a federal level was because you basically had people that would have had to become felons in order to actually make it a challenge to the Supreme Court. And that's the problem right now in this country's history, dude. And if they actually wanted to take it to a bloody battle, it would have had to be Second Revolution or something like that at that point. Again, people were too much of a bunch of pussified people back in those days to actually fight government tyranny is what it was, dude. You know, it was very hard to organize back then. And unfortunately, if you try to organize like that nowadays, like you're pretty much labeled a domestic terrorist is what it is, and it's all a whole thing right now. But the point of the matter is that state law should never be codified as fucking federal laws, or vice versa for that matter, dude. You should never have federal law codified as a state law is what it is. But yeah, so basically, if and when we find out who the fuck these people were that actually did decide to codify the NFA, the Gun Control Act of 68, etc., into the Ohio Constitution back in the day, guess what? We're going to have a special Oathbreakers episode, and especially if these motherfuckers happen to be sitting in office nowadays, ooh, buddy, there's going to be a charge for fucking mass recall voting across the board, and we demand recall voting at state level at that point, because these motherfuckers need to be removed from office, period, at that point. Through recall voting, through automatic disqualifications, et cetera, dude. Because there is absolutely no reason, if you were sitting in office currently and you were part of that shit that passed that crap back in the day, dude, that you should ever be holding office in the state ever again, is what it is. Hell, you shouldn't even be out of prison after that, dude. For real. But, yeah, so I was watching Ohio Gunners thing last night, and Chris Dorr was talking about this. He was saying about how, I guess, both sides of the Republican caucuses right now, which are, you know, the Marin mega Republicans and stuff like that, and then Jason Stevens, like basically Rhino establishment is what it is. Both sides want to do something when it comes to Second Amendment stuff. We're just not sure what it's going to be yet. If it's going to be them just kind of, you know, going back and doing like a reenactment of the Candace Keller Ron Hood version of constitutional carry, or not constitutional carry, of the Keller Hood version of Stand Your Ground, which would actually stop the civil lawsuits where you have to defend yourself versus criminals from either the, you know, criminal if they survive or from their family members or whatever the case be. Or whether it be an actual two-way preservation act, which is what we need right now anyway. We need to have a Second Amendment sanctuary in this state, period, dude. We need to have something I've been fighting for almost 4 years now is what it is. And that's the thing, dude. It was over 3 years ago at this point, going on 4 years now, that I got into this fight, you know? It'll be this, technically it'll be about, yeah, it's about 3 years and a few months, I believe is what it is now. Because it wouldn't be until like the fall of this year would be the 4th year then, which all has to do with the fact that, you know, I was involved in the grassroots orgs back in the day when it came to actually getting county commissioners to sign on board with 2A sanctuary and stuff like that is what it was, which I'm not so sure if any of those are even valid at this point or not, because we've had multiple election cycles since then, and you could have like new county commissioners that would have to re-sign onto them and stuff like that, so I have no idea how many of the 30-something that we had before are actually still valid at this point, if any. And it's exactly what we need to have the shit at the state level is what it is, dude. It's exactly what we need to have an actual 2A sanctuary, 2A preservation act, whatever we call it at that point, at a state level. And it needs to basically be this. It's exactly what Chris Dorr and those people like Ohio Gunners are doing right now, dude. It's the legislation that they have crafted and stuff like that that needs to be signed into law. Because I've read the legislation, dude, and it's good legislation, honestly. Basically, what it would do is it would be no different than what Missouri did already. And it would essentially be somewhat of a copy and paste version of that, where it would basically be if you're a federal agent, You cannot just simply come into a state and try to take people's firearms, try to confiscate their shit, is what it is. And it is going to be the duty of law enforcement in the state, specifically sheriffs and stuff like that, to stop you from doing that stuff and potentially arrest you if you try to do that stuff. And that's what it should be anyway, dude. There is no fucking reason to have any infringement upon the Second Amendment of the Constitution and people's right to keep and bear arms when you as a legal gunner in this country have done nothing wrong. Everyone in this nation currently that has bought a AR pistol or a mini Drake or anything else like that, dude. So it'd be like AR, AK, whatever the case be, like short, firearms and stuff like that, what is basically considered a pistol at this point. Anybody who's gone to an FFL, done a private sale, whatever the case be, has done that shit legally. They never did anything wrong with what they bought. So to sit there and try to arbitrarily, as an alphabet agency that does not have legal authority to do anything, attempt to make a fucking ruling on it, and try to make people into criminals so you can take away their right to vote, as well as the right to keep and bear arms, because you want to democide them later. And that's a big thing too, right? Like, it's not, the people always like worry about like, oh, it's just them taking your rights away and stuff like that, and like try to arrest you or whatever the case be. It's not even just trying to take away your Second Amendment, dude. It's trying to take away your fucking right to vote, so you can actually stop future tyrants from getting elected. And that's the biggest thing that I'm always about, dude, because I actually see the end game is what it is, dude. Being the autistic fuck that I am, dude, being a high functioning autistic person right now, I've seen the end game, dude. Why do people think I got federally swatted legitimately? It's because I saw the fucking end game and called it out from what it was, dude. That's what it really was. That's what they were all about, dude. They were trying to threat assess me is what it was. To be like, oh, that guy might be a threat. But no, he's just some autistic fuck that actually knows the Constitution is what it is. And that's the big difference there. And that's the entire point of the whole matter, is we have the winning side right now, dude. The gunners of this country have the winning side. The entire question is, will those people that were actually elected into general assemblies across this country, whether it be at state level or whether it be at federal level, do their fucking job to protect the American people's rights? Do the job that they swore an oath to uphold on the U.S. Constitution to protect the Second Amendment, as well as, depending on if you're in a state general assembly, the oath you swore on the state constitution on top of the federal constitution. Because that's the thing, dude. If you're doing state level stuff, you're swearing an oath to 2 constitutions, most of which, at a state level, have actual legislation in them as one of the first articles of them as the right to keep and bear arms. Article 1, Section 4 of the Ohio Constitution. Legitimately, you have the right to keep and bear arms, period. That cannot be infringed upon. That cannot be fucked with. It cannot be, arbitrarily ruled on by some alphabet agency, whatever the case be. So to sit here and tell me that some dumb, lazy motherfucker who was elected 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, whatever it was, decided upon their time in office that instead of actually creating a better state version of a piece of legislation to protect Ohioans' right to keep and bear arms in the state, instead they're like, no, let's just codify federal laws. Let's just codify federal bullshit that shouldn't even be law in the NFA with short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, AOWs, etc., destructive devices, ordinances, all that shit like that. It's a bunch of crap, dude, entirely. And I've said it before, the NFA does not need to exist in this country at all, dude. It should have been outlawed in 34. It should have became a thing and not became a thing after that within less than 6 months. And the fact that you have people who refuse to actually do their job and have been a bunch of lazy fuckers in general assemblies in the state for decades, most likely. Because the thing is, you look at actual legislation across the board, how gun control became a thing in this country. You had, obviously, NFA of 34. You had the Gun Control Act of 68. The Hughes Amendment was not until 1986, a year after I was born. So you're talking about 37 years ago right now was when the Hughes Amendment became a thing in this country. So at what point in the past 37 years did a bunch of dickheads in Ohio's General Assembly decide, no, we're not going to actually do our job and help Ohioans have the right to keep and bear arms. We're just going to codify stupid ass fucking bullshit like the NFA, etc., into state law. Because I believe, truthfully, that's exactly what it was. It was a bunch of dumb, lazy fuckers, 86, 87, 88, 88, 89, 90, Bush 1's administration, Clinton's administration, fucking George W. Bush's administration. Somewhere in there, I'm guessing it was codified into law in the state. It wouldn't surprise. Honestly, going back, Peggy Lerner. Peggy Lerner, for those who don't know who she is, dude. She was one of the biggest fucking piece of shit rhinos in the Ohio General Assembly under John Kasich's governorship. She was the stupid old fucking cunt who was a legit version of Dianne Feinstein at a state level, dude. And she sat here, put through a piece of legislation into our General Assembly at one point. Nobody was smart enough to actually look at it, because this is like back in like 2017 or so, give or take. So you're talking about roughly 6 years ago or so. Everybody just signed off on it. Didn't even bother reading the legislation at all, dude. And then it wasn't until people like Ohio governors at the time, realizing, wait a minute, what the fuck is this? And spoke up about it, that people realized that they had signed a piece of legislation into law at that time. They had to have an emergency piece of legislation then filed and fast-tracked through the General Assembly all the way to the governor's desk to overturn that piece of legislation that was already signed into law. Because had it actually gone into enactment, you would have had everybody in the state of Ohio that had a gun with a 16-inch or longer barrel to it become a felon. They would have been in possession of I forget what it was, like a long-barreled rifle is what it was called then, or something like that. Something real stupid like that is what it was, dude. And it was basically like reverse SBR, essentially, is what it was. Because people are so fucking dumb that they don't understand that gun controllers can be on any political ticket, dude. And that's exactly what Peggy Lerner was, dude. Her and Cecil Thomas together were two of the biggest fucking scumbags in our entire General Assembly. And the fact that Cecil Thomas's bitch ass, after 8 years now, has been able to simply flip-flop our General Assembly from a state senator to now a state rep again, fuck that shit, dude. There is a reason why we have term limits on places of positions of power in this country, dude, and specifically in the state of Ohio, when it comes to either side of the General Assembly. There should be no fucking flip-flopping bullshit, dude, at all, period. And that is something that I want to see passed immediately in the state of Ohio right now, dude. And I am calling on everybody, from you, Reggie Stolfus, who is my legitimate state rep right now, to you, Kirk Shearing, who represents me in the state Senate. Get off your fucking lazy asses, talk to your fucking colleagues, get something passed, and stop the flip-flopping of the General Assembly, dude. If you are in office for longer than 6 years, you are immediately null and voided from ever being able to flip the other side of the General Assembly at that point. There is a reason why we have term limits in place, dude, is to stop people like that from doing that shit, dude. But of course, Kirk Shearing's not going to do shit about it, dude, because he's been doing it for fucking 20 years now. Him and Scott Olinger are two of the biggest piece of shit rhinos that have been doing that crap for fucking decades now, dude. Since the 2000s, basically. Where every time one of them gets termed out, the other one just simply flips into their seat and they flip to that person's seat is what it is. On the opposite side. And this is exactly why career politicians need to fucking be ended. Period. Fucking done. You're termed out, bitch. Period. You're termed out. Get the fuck out of our General Assembly. We're having new people. We're having grassroots candidates come up and take your fucking positions, dude. It's not Kirk Shearing's Senate seat. It's not fucking, Reggie Stolfus's congressional seat, whatever the case be. No, it's the fucking 51st district, or it's whatever the hell district fucking Shearing represents right now in the state senate. Is what it is, dude. Because I think it's like the 20-something-ish or something like that. There's like 33 districts or something, and I forget like what his falls into. It's like 20 or 18 or something like that. I have to look at the actual maps again because they keep fucking with the maps. Is what it is, dude. Like I have no idea what the actual maps are at this point when it comes to stuff because they're doing new maps again, by the way. And again, talking about the map stuff, dude. Do new maps to do 88 people in the General Assembly, one county, one rep, and on that same vein of things, take the 33 people that are currently in the state Senate and down it to 22 people, dude. Have it be one state senator for every 4 counties in the state, dude. So people actually know who the fuck represents them. That is what it is. And it would not be that hard, dude, when you look at the map of Ohio right now. You could easily have like Stark County and a few others around it basically become the 4 is what it is. For whatever congressional seat that would be then. You know? And if that means you would have multiple, or not congressional, it would be the 4 counties for whatever state senator district that would be in then. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter if it would be multiple state senators in that district then. Have them fucking fight each other for the actual thing, dude. Have them actually go up against each other in an actual race for once, dude. Because that's the problem I have right now with people like Kirk Shearing specifically, dude. And to that same extent, Reggie Stolfish for that matter, actually. Because both of those men, general election this past year in 2022, there in November, nobody from any other party was running against either one of these people, dude. Because I was so censored last year through fucking bullshit mainstream media and also fucking tech monopolies like your Facebooks, your YouTubes, your Twitters, etc. I was never able to run a successful primary against Kirk Shearing for the state senate at this point, dude. Had I been able to do so, I guarantee I could have taken that shit down, man. And I would have ousted his fucking ass as a state senator then if that be the case. And that's the problem right now. Is being censored, being deprived of my right to even be able to run because I can't gain any traction, because I can't actually get my name out there to get stuff done. And that's why so many people refuse to run even, dude, because they're like, what the hell's the point even? And not to mention for that matter, when you have the fucking scumbag ass fucking political parties that will simply just put the money behind these fucking assholes even when they have a challenger. I mean, hell, look at Mike DeWine, dude, for God's sakes. The guy was running a re-election campaign for governor last year, had 3 fucking challengers in the primary, and what did the fucking asshole GOP do? Oh, let's give Mike DeWine like $1 million fucking dollars before anybody else even has the chance to get in there is what it is, dude, to primary his ass. They gave 0 money to any of the other challengers against him, dude. What the fuck kind of shit is that, man? What the fuck kind of establishment bullshit is that? It's a bunch of crap entirely, dude. And especially when you start looking at the householder corruption scandal, and you look at fucking DeWine's entire position in that, you look at Husted's entire position in that, you look at fucking Frank LaRosa's position in that, you look at fucking the fact that you have many, many people in the Ohio General Assembly currently, specifically Bill Seitz, motherfucking rhino, not to mention Democrat pieces of shit like Allison Russo, Casey Weinstein, etc., that all voted for householder. You have multiple people in our state senate right now that literally flip-flop this past General Assembly out of our state house. People like Paula Hicks Hudson, people like Catherine Ingram, who all voted for householder, who all took bribes, who have all done shady shit, none of which have been investigated at this point. The fact that you have specifically DeWine and Husted before the 2018 midterms, and this is actual verified fact, by the way, you can go back and look into this shit, dude, if you want to. When they took bribe money as quote-unquote campaign donations from the same fucking coal factories, from the same fucking oil plants, etc., that were bailed out under HB 6 back in 2019. Very fucking convenient that they were never actually brought up on charges themselves then. When you have DeWine in the past 2 months now, legitimately giving his fucking prosecutor buddy, who has no judicial experience whatsoever, a seat on the state Supreme Court when it should have been a fucking mandatory special election to fill that seat. What the fuck kind of shady shit is going on in the state, dude? Like, seriously. And then we go back full circle, and people wonder why you had a bunch of lazy fuckers at some point in the past 30 years or so codify federal law into a state constitution. Maybe because they were doing criminal shit themselves back then, probably? I wonder. Maybe. And this is what I'm saying, dude. Like, people wonder why I'm pissed off, dude. It's because of shit like that. It's because I love this state, and I'm sick and tired of seeing the fucking corruption everywhere is what it is, dude. And seeing nobody fucking investigate it. But yet, I can say something about some fucking piece of shit fucking Chi-Com fuckboy, and now all of a sudden I got 2 feds knocking on my fucking door and trying to beat my door down, dude. Back in 2019. Yet a month after that, fucking state senator Casey Weinstein commits a hate hoax on himself, never investigated. Why? Because Casey Weinstein has a big old fucking Democrat next to his name is what it is, dude. That's exactly what it is, dude. It is political bullshit. It's political bias. It is fucking alphabet agency fuckboys like the FBI, etc., dude, that don't give a shit about the American people, that are nothing more than a fucking terrorist wing of the federal government is what it is, dude. I'm going to call it like it is right now. They are the terrorist enforcing wing of a federal government, dude, that has run amok long, long ago, that has become tyrannical long, long ago, before I was even born. And people are finally waking up to shit now, dude, is what it is. People are finally seeing what I've been seeing for the past 10 fucking years or so, which is how fucked this country has gotten now, dude. Which is how corrupt this country has gotten, because you allow people who should not even be in office to continue to not be termed out, to continue to commit fuckery even when you have term limits in place, so they can keep maintaining power and become career politicians, dude. And I will say it before, like I said, I will say it again, like I said before, honestly. There should never be the term career and politician together in the same fucking sentence, dude, especially not next to each other. There should never be politicians, period. Because the entire point of elected representation in this nation is to be a civil servant, because you are serving the people of your fucking districts. You're being their representative, their state senator, whatever the case be, their federal senator, whatever it is there at that point. You know, president, governor, whatever it is, dude. You're elected to represent their interests. What they want to see happen. When people are telling you, pass Second Amendment legislation that ensures people's constitutional rights, fucking do it. When you have people saying, hey, we don't want to see kids be killed in the fucking womb day after fucking day, pass heartbeat bills. Don't allow fucking judges to be a bunch of activist assholes and try to fucking stay that stuff, dude. Don't allow fucking children to be murdered at 5 months in the fucking womb. Which is what's going on right now in the state of Ohio, dude. You have a fucking activist-ass judge for the past several months now who basically stopped our 6-week heartbeat bill, and you can still have kids killed in the womb to 20 weeks, dude. What the fuck, man? That is a viable child at that point. 100%. We have the technology where at 20 weeks you could have a preemie child and that kid could survive, dude. Maybe not all the time, but there's definitely a chance that most of the time they can. And not only that, but then you have pieces of shit like fucking Tim Walz the other day, that fucker Minnesota, signing the PRO Act that allows for third trimester abortions, 9 months in the fucking womb. A literal fucking child about to be born can be fucking sucked out and killed. What the fuck is that demonic shit, dude? Seriously. Like, my God, bro. Like, it is pure evil. It is literal demons committing these fucking atrocities, dude. We are literally in a battle of good and evil right now. And it's time for people to make their choice, dude. Are you on the side of God, Jesus Christ, and the archangels and angels? Or are you on the side of Lucifer and the fucking demons, dude? I believe I know the answer to that for a lot of people already in office right now, dude. You look at some of these Democrats, you look at a lot of these fucking rhinos and stuff like that, dude, and they've definitely chosen evil. They've definitely chosen Lucifer's side already at this point, man. And I'll tell you right now, where I fucking stand, where the Ohio Patriot Education Network stands, we stand with God and Jesus Christ. And if that means that we become vessels, supernatural style, for literal archangels taking over our soul, taking over our bodies, and using them as weapons against the fucking demons, so be it. Now, granted, is that really going to happen? Probably not. Would it be cool if it kind of did? Absolutely. It would be fucking awesome, dude. It would be fucking awesome if Supernatural was actually a documentary, not an actual, Hollywood TV series is what it is. But, yeah, there's a lot of cool shit in that show, though, dude, for real, though. But no, seriously, though. Like, I feel like, honestly, at this point in history, we're definitely fighting evil, though. And I think, truthfully, good is winning in many cases right now. Whether it be 2A wins, whether it be First Amendment wins of free speech and stuff like that, whether it be pro-life wins, The overturning of Roe versus Wade was a great thing last year. It should have happened decades before that, honestly. Again, just like the NFA, dude, it should have been like about maybe 6 months or so or less, and it was overturned then. But that's the problem right now. When you have, and I would even say that the same thing there with Roe versus Wade as well, dude, because that's people don't realize, dude. I think the NFA is kind of the same way, honestly. Is it was never an actual congressional thing or whatever put in place and stuff, dude. It's basically some Supreme Court ruling is what it was, dude. Which is the same thing with Roe versus Wade was. It was a Supreme Court ruling and stuff that was never actual law. It was just some like basically bullshit mandate thing that was not even legal to be a thing. So, yeah, to me, honestly, I feel like 100% it's time for any and all cases that can challenge the NFA at this point to go forward straight to the Supreme Court is what it is, dude, and for them to finally do their job and overturn all that bullshit almost 90 years later is what it is. So, anyway, needless to say, I'm pretty pissed off right now, dude. Like, knowing that my state could potentially be fucked over like that because of stupid ass dipshits who had no business even being in office to pass that kind of crap to begin with, dude. And like I said, I have no idea if any of them are in office right now or if it's a bunch of people that were, previous General Assembly people or something like that may be dead by this point, honestly, from just natural causes and stuff and old age and shit. So, either way, it's a bunch of crap, dude. Honestly, if I'm not mistaken, I think DeWine was actually in our General Assembly at one point. Hell, for all we know, it was his fucking group of people that passed that crap. Fucking wouldn't surprise me, honestly, dude. Although, to be fair, I think at that point he might have already been in the in federal Congress at the time, because I feel like he was a congressman in the 80s or something. And then I know he was a senator in the 90s, I want to say. And then he was, I'm trying to think. I believe he was a congressman for a bunch of years. And then he became a senator for a long time. And then he eventually lost to, I believe it was Sherrod Brown at the time during Brown's first term, like, what was it, 17 years ago almost now. And then it was after that DeWine then took like a couple years off or something like that in his political career is what it was. And then eventually came back and became state AG. Or no, was he AG? Or was he some? No, he was AG. Okay. Yeah, he was the AG before Dave Yost was. So he was the AG when all the shit happened with Pike County and stuff like that. And that's when he actually, that was the one thing. Like, all the time that DeWine was actually in office, he actually did a good job as AG. Like, as much shit as I'll actually give the man, dude, like, he actually did a good job. One time in his fucking entire time in politics over, like, a time span of, like, 40-something years now is what it is, dude. He had, like, that window of about 4 years there or so when he was AG where he actually did good, And that's the thing. I think it was a 2-term AG, actually, which is even worse, dude. So it's basically that 8 years was actually like a 4-year window of that 8 years. He was actually a decent fucking dude in political power at the time because he was actually doing his job at one point then. And I think the only reason he was doing his job, though, is because he was gearing up for that governor's run is what it was then back in 2018 then. So he was like, oh, gotta do something here now is what it is, dude, to actually like be like, hey, this is why you should elect me in the governorship now is what it is. Which wouldn't surprise me. It seems like that's what most of them do anyway. It's like, and that's one thing I've always hated about, all these career rhinos and stuff like that in the state, dude. It goes back to the fact that when you look at these people, they won't do a fucking thing for you for years and stuff like that until it's like 6 months before an election cycle. And then they're like, oh, got to do something now so I can get reelected again. And then they finally pass something is what it is, dude. And sadly, that's how we've gotten constitutional carry and stand your ground in the state, or at least expanded castle doctrine, which should be stand your ground. But of course, they gutted it to take out the actual civil lawsuit immunity, which is what should have had in there. What we need to have passed right now, actually, when it comes to stuff like that. Just like they gutted constitutional carry when it came to being a great clean bill that they didn't put fucking Terry stops and shit into, like a bunch of dumbasses over that idiot DJ Swearingen and the fucking NRA that literally stepped in at like the fucking 7-yard line or something like that is what it was, dude, where they're like, oh yeah, we haven't been here for the entire football game, but let's go ahead and jump in like right when we're about to win it with the last fucking touchdown, basically. And yeah, it was the fucking douchebags at the NRA, the same fucking douchebags, by the way, that created the fucking Hughes Amendment of 86, the year after I was born, who stepped in and fucked us over when it came to clean constitutional carry is what it was, dude. And if I'm not mistaken, it was also the fucking NRA's backdoor dealing bullshit that actually fucked over our stand your ground law as well, dude, when it came to gutting out the civil lawsuit immunity stuff in there. Because that's the thing, dude. When it comes to the National Rifle Association, They don't give a fuck about you, dude. They don't give a fuck about your rights. You think Wayne LaPierre and those fucking assholes give a shit about anybody except their own fucking private jet flying and their own fucking backdoor shady ass embezzlement and stuff like that? Fuck no. That's all they do, man. They just embezzle fucking money is what it is. You know, and that's the thing, dude. Ohio Picture Education Network, you know how much we have in our budget for our coffers right now, dude? Fucking zero. $0 right now. It is all me currently doing all this shit, dude. It is all me getting shit up and running right now for the past year, almost. And that's the thing. Most people don't realize that, dude. Even Ohio Gunners, for that matter, dude. Like, they take in some money, but it ain't that much. It's like enough to basically cover their bills, and then they have a bunch of people that help them as volunteers and shit like that don't get paid is what it is. And it's the same way with a lot of grassroots organizations, dude. You have like a couple people that basically use like some of the money for like gas money to go down to like the state house and talk about shit or whatever the case be, or testify in favor or against stuff or whatever the case be. And then the rest of the cash is basically used to get the, you know, do the email blasts and shit like that is what it is, man. And actually fight lawsuits and stuff like that as well is what I'm going to say on that one, because the thing is, when you have, you know, people like FPC or GOA, when they, you know, throw out those email blasts and they're like, please donate money to us and stuff like that, dude, they're legitimate about that one, because they're using that cash very much so to fight fucking federal lawsuits right now, dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to give money to gun rights organizations that aren't state level stuff, dude, Firearms Policy Coalition is probably the best one right now. Gunners of America is not far behind them as far as I'm aware still. Like, as far as I'm aware, GOA has not become the NRA at this point, and they're still fighting for your 2A rights is what it is, man. Now, granted, at a state level, Ohio Patriot Education Network is the place to start giving money to at this point, dude. You know, if you want to give us cash, whatever the case be, or you want to support us, dude, I'm gonna start doing my my store again when it comes to 2A merchandise and stuff like that I've done with my mugs and things like that in the past. Now, granted, with that stuff, I seriously, like, how much that stuff costs, you know, it is like 20, 25 bucks a piece and stuff like that, dude. But honestly, I only make a couple of dollars profit on any of that shit. I think it's like $1.50 I make on the mugs, and it's like maybe like $2 on the t-shirt or something like that or less. So, and that's the thing. I'm trying to give you like decent merchandise for that price, but like I'm making almost zero profit off of it at all, dude. So honestly, unless you would want to actually donate directly to me or something like that, dude, which then again I have to set up a whole PO box and stuff like that to get like, you know, checks or whatever, or maybe like, I don't know, some kind of cash app or something like that kind of deal or whatever. But like either way, I don't really want to go down that road is what it is, because again, I'd rather do the show that kind of my heart right now, dude. I'd much rather do this right now in a way as grassroots as possible right now, where I'm not really taking in a dime at all, dude. Actually, the one thing I would ask, if you want to do something for me right now, help me find a lawyer. And if you can actually throw a few dollars in to pay their legal fees, dude, so I can actually finally start a lawsuit against Columbus, Ohio and Andrew Ginther and company over the unconstitutional gun control crap they put in there with the magazine bans and shit, dude. They're all illegal and completely break state constitution and state preemption laws and stuff like that, dude. Please help me find these people, dude, because that's where I'm at right now. I want to sue the shit out of Columbus, dude, but I do not have the legal means to do so is what it is. I don't have the legal means, and I don't have any lawyer contacts right now that would be able to do it pro bono for me. Because the thing is, I know for a fact if we got the lawsuit going, we could easily take these fuckers down, dude. And if that means, you know, it would be some local lawyer, or if that means it would be somebody from, you know, Gunners of America, whatever the case be, or even Firearms Policy Coalition for that matter, because I know those guys are mostly lawyers is what it is. If it would be y'all helping me out, because I've contacted y'all on Twitter a couple times now, dude, you still haven't gotten back to me. But yeah, if you guys would be like, you guys would, like, I know for a fact you guys are doing like a shit, like specifically FPC, I know you guys are doing a lot of different lawsuits across this country right now. If you want to do a lawsuit against Columbus, Ohio, dude, I will be your fucking plaintiff for you. Because the thing is, I would actually be the person that potentially could be arrested for going down there, dude. Because most of the time when I go down there, I'm legally carrying a long gun with me. Because there's no reason not to. You know? There is zero reason not to be armed like that. In a fucking major shithole that is one of the biggest fucking hell pockets in this entire state right now when it comes to crime, dude. Like, there is no reason not to be that heavily armed, is what it is, dude. Even if you're visiting family and stuff like that. So, yeah, I would be the one most likely to get arrested for having, mags 30 rounds or more is what it is right now. If nothing else, we would find you other people that may have gotten arrested at this point already to be plaintiffs as well on that one, dude. So, yeah, it's a bunch of shit, honestly, dude. To not have a lawsuit going up against Ginther right now and stuff like that, dude. And even for that matter of the fact, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Firearms Policy Coalition themselves actually had people who donated to their cause right now that live in the Columbus, Ohio area, dude, or Franklin County for that matter. So, do something, man. Help us out, for God's sakes, Even if it's not OPEN, attached to that fucking lawsuit or whatever the case be, dude, at least you would have a lawsuit going against the city of Columbus for us. And it would actually be something that could be won. If nothing else, expose the fucking judge down in Franklin County who even made this bullshit ruling to be able to break preemption law at a state level, dude. Which they had no legal right to do at this point, because I still haven't found out that person's name at this point, man. But yeah, I would love to see something going on right now, dude. And my thinking, honestly, is even if it was just the network suing and stuff right now as the plaintiff and shit, dude, or if it was just me suing as a plaintiff or whatever, based on the network moniker and stuff like that, I would want this to be a class action lawsuit, legitimately. I've always said that. I always wanted to be a thing, dude. I don't want just us making a profit off of this, dude. I want everybody being able to fucking drain these motherfuckers, dude. And if nothing else, if that means also bringing like personal lawsuits against Andrew Ginther and the city council and stuff like that, that's what we need to be doing right now. So, because the way I look at it right now, I'd like to have about 5 lawsuits going right now. I would like to have a lawsuit going specifically against the city of Columbus. I would like to have a lawsuit going against the Franklin County judge that allowed state permission to be broken. I would like to have a lawsuit against Democrat Mayor Andrew Ginther. And I would like to have at least 2 lawsuits going against 2 city council members that voted through this crap. If not, like, more than that even. And it would probably be more like 7 or 8, actually, because I forget how many city council members were actually on that list that actually voted yes on this crap. But either way, it's a bunch of crap, and they completely broke their oath to office, what it is, dude. So, yeah, I want to see them all. I want to see them all drained of resources at this point, dude. I want to see them all drained financially, bankrupted if we can. Because that's the only way these fuckers are going to learn is what it is, dude. When it hits their fucking pocketbooks and they become completely bankrupt, only then will they finally learn that they have truly lost. Because this is the thing. Andrew Ginther, that fucking piece of shit mayor of Columbus right now, dude, that dude has done this shit at least a dozen times now since he took office about a dozen years ago or so. And he continues to do the crap every year or two is what it is, dude. He'll be a fucking tragedy pimp. He will push all kinds of bullshit narratives about quote unquote gun violence and other stupid crap like that, but yet never addresses the fact that it's actual criminals stealing firearms from actual legal citizens in the state. The fact that he's just a piece of shit in general and continues to get smacked down under preemption law most times, to where he had to literally go and find some fucking activist asshole who claims to be a judge to literally break their own oath to sit there and fucking screw around with our state preemption law and sort of put like a weird injunction on it to make this shit legal when it's not fucking legal is absolute crap, dude. And yeah, it's time for them all to go to prison, honestly, at this point, dude. They need to be drained financially, bankrupted to out of existence, basically, is what it is, and then hauled to prison for deprivation of rights or color of law, for other various felony crimes, and as corrupt piece of shit there is what it is, dude. They need to be sharing a fucking prison cell with Larry Householder is what it needs to be right now, honestly, dude, seriously. And it's really simple as that. But anyway, that's where we're at for the day. And like I said, if anybody can help me get a lawyer, if anybody can help me get the cash together to be able to afford a lawyer, that's where we're at right now. So we can get this lawsuit started against Columbus. Or like I said, if FPC can jump on board and be willing to be our lawyers for us is what it is. We obviously can't pay you, unfortunately. So you would have to do it pro bono for us. And then, just take a cut of the fucking money that we would make in the lawsuits is what it would be then. For your legal fees and shit like that is what it would be then. But Anyway, other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Like I said, if I find out names of who was actually behind the BS codifying of federal law into state law, we're definitely going to put those fuckers on blast in the future Oathbreakers episode. But other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all in the next one.